to DN Mobile Spa in Accra, Ghana. Oh boy, DN Mobile Spa, we provide organic care in Masara. Are you stressed? Do you need rejuvenating, etc.? For your facials, maybe exfoliating, firming, and lifting? Then contact DN Spa on 00233 244 941 002 or 00233 2006
00233 2006 06386, and they will be right there on time. JN Mobile Spa, your health and beauty needs at your doorstep. Okay, welcome back to the Star Radio UK morning show. All right then. Okay, let me say a special happy birthday to Mama Evelyn Delaney, one of the mamas in the church. I salute you, Mama Evelyn. I hope you are doing very, very well as well. Star Radio UK. Now, on the from the updates from Nigeria that we're going to be looking at, households express pessimism, expect further rise in cost of living, says the CBN. That's what the CBN is saying. Say, expect that. And then over 1,500 Nigerians have been killed in October alone in 861 incidents of kidnapping attacks. That's what the report is saying. That the federal government in October, through the OHCSF, initiated the process of selecting new permanent secretaries to fill vacancies in 8 states. Now, policemen in Nigeria's capital reportedly shot man 21 who tried escaping extortion after the officer accused him of being a Yahoo boy. Okay, now every Nigerian owes 619,501 naira. Do you feel that your economy is like that? With everything that you own, do you think you own like that? Now, ex-governor Aregbesola is warning of possible revolution in Nigeria. Now, we have the military high command that has said that, well, we give you our word that there's not going to be anything of that sort. But so where is the revolution going to be coming from? We have someone who is saying that come the 2nd of December, they are doing a declaration for the Igbos. Okay? Now, what? And then we have that of the Yoruba nation as well. Well, let me say good morning to Professor and Dr. Sunday Adeyemo Igboho. Those are the leaders there and all the team that works around them. I mean, they're also looking at the fact that they think they are being marginalized and they think it's a matter of time where they need to just leave. Now, with all those things, what kind of revolution is he talking about there, the ex-governor talking about there? Let me say good morning to Rosie and Delta and Racy and Mom Vida, good morning to you. Atakofi, massive good morning to you, sir. I hope you're all doing very, very well. Well, on the Wednesday edition of the morning show, let's crack on. In other stories making the rounds in other parts of the world, notably in Ghana as well. Okay, we'll coming from the African front and we'll come to Ghana as well. Voting is underway in Somalia's breakaway region and Somaliland. Thank you very much, Echoes family. Biafra. Thank you. I was looking at that. Biafra. Well, they said they are doing a declaration. They're going to be making a declaration there. Thank you. All right then. Okay. That on the 2nd of December. That is via Simon Ekpa, who is going to be making that declaration. But I'm asking the question, do you think by making a declaration that necessarily means that you have your freedom and you can go about doing everything that you have to do? Well, Ugandans have been detained for insulting some Ugandans have been detained for insulting President Museveni, the wife and the son. So they have to be arrested. They insulted him on TikTok. All right, interesting. But vacancy case, the Supreme Court verdict and related politics in Ghana. Well, the opposition NDC are saying that they are not returning to Parliament until after the elections, because now they all have to embark on electoral campaign. So they are going, though the Supreme Court has ruled, so we don't know what is going to happen there. But they are the majority or the ruling government spokesperson or leader in parliament has called for the opposition NDC to come to the chambers so that they can discuss issues and look at how to go about things. But well, they are saying that who form the majority? I mean, what's the definition of a majority? Those who have got the numbers, right? Okay, so let's see what's going to happen there. It's all coming away from Star Radio UK. Of course, as I said, it is a Wednesday edition of the morning show, and therefore we move with the speed of light. Now, Donald Trump appoints Elon Musk to efficiency role and Fox News host as defense secretary. What is going to happen there? And then, still on the world front, it flew right into her room. Ukrainian girl killed by Russian drone as attacks surge. Well, as I've been saying, that I know for sure that the what do you call it? The Russians will do their best to fight their best, do everything that they want to do before Trump resumes. Okay? Power. But what do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? How can Europe also support them to do whatever things? But lots more going to be coming your way. As I did say, we're going to be having Mr. OLAYOMI KOIKI joining us in the next few moments. Oil and gas are a gift of God, says COP29 hosts. Of course. I've been saying this time and time and over again. Now, listen, they've used this oil and gas to develop their economies, and they are now living their lives and doing everything that they need to do. Now, your small country, let's say Nigeria, which is big, let's say Ghana, which has also got oil, and some other countries who have not also now got oil that they can use, and we say, no, because of environmental pollution, and so we have to all stop it. Really? But the COP29 conference that they are having, how many of the big polluters are there? Is the US there? No. Is India there? No. Is China there? No. Is Russia there? Let me say no. Okay? So the big polluters, they are not there to say that, okay, let's do something. Because again, if we want to do that, let's say we introduce that in Africa. Let's say in Nigeria or Ghana. Now, Nigeria already suffering from NEPA issue. We have all the time, we're having the national grid collapsing and stuff like that. Even if it's not collapsing, do we have the necessary infrastructure to be able to do so? Or are we just following because they are saying so? Somebody will say, well, look at the consequences of things that are happening. Is it the El Nino weather phenomenon that is causing it? Or is it because of the flood that we are seeing in Spain and all those things that is going on, and the drought that we see in part of Africa and everything that is going, as a Ghanaian man would say, busy, basa. Is that what is causing us to now set up and say we all have to stop it when the big polluters are not stopping it? I bet you in your own corner, brighten the corner where you are. Just turn your lights on. Just do what you have to do. And let's see, better the lives of your people. Because if we are dead, we'll not be able to. Say we are enjoying a very nice weather. Are we? We have to leave first before we can do things. But well, that is my take on it. But maybe, truly, we all have to do something about it. So let the big polluters come to the table. And if they come to the table, what are they offering the smaller countries that have now discovered oil in their countries where they're going to be using to also enhance their economy? What should they do? This and a lot more going to be coming your way. It is not coming away from Star Radio UK. It is exactly 2 minutes past the top of the hour, and we should have Mr. OLAYOMI KOIKI joining us any moment from now. But moving on, looking at some of the stories making the rounds here in the UK. NHS managers to be sacked in failing hospitals. That would be a tough one, because the system is such that some are saying, it's working, we cannot do much about it. But they said it's going to be like the football league. So I think, how would they score each other? Well, I don't know the metrics, but, the health secretary is saying he's putting everything together nicely to get the job done. So let's see. We'll give him the best of our support. When we have the privilege of having any of them, we'll interview them and we'll put it across to you as well. Now, Post Office could lose 115 branches with jobs at risks. That's one of the stories. The government to order review of rail fare prosecutions. Well, that's a good one there as well. Then the final story coming from here in the UK. Abuse survivor calls for further Church of England resignations. We know that the Archbishop of Canterbury, who is the head of the church, the senior person, because the head of the church is the king. But the issue is he has resigned. But do we think that goes far enough? What were the abuses that he was said to have some way, somehow be silent on? What do you think about all that? We're going to be telling you more about that. But now, I can tell you assuredly, I've got with me my colleague and co-presenter, Mr. OLAYOMI KOIKI, this morning, where he's going to be bringing you updates from Nigeria. Let me see whether he can hear me. Hello, Yomi.
Yeah, good morning. I know you can hear me, but I'm not sure if you can see me.
No, I can't see you. All that I can see is the flyer of the 1914 amalgamation.
Yeah, I'm trying to see why we are not picking the signal. Bear with us in a minute.
Yeah.
And I see if we can rectify the problem.
Okay. Listen.
Let's see if I can rectify the problem as quickly as we can.
Yeah.
We do know sometimes with the tech.
Yeah, that's all technology, man.
Technicality. But let's see.
Yeah.
I think, I'm not sure if you can see me now.
Sir, no.
All right. I'll come back in a minute.
Okay. All right then. Listeners, just bear with us whilst Yomi try to do the setup for the broadcast from his end there. So just bear with us whilst he does so. It's all coming your way from Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. And as I did say earlier on, if Simon Ekpa says they're going to be declaring the independence for the Biafra people, what does it actually mean there? On the 2nd of December, that's when that declaration is going to be taking place. But I can tell you that we can see Mr. OLAYOMI KOIKI, who has joined in. And let me say, good morning to you, Yomi.
Well, a very good morning back to you in the studio, Mr. Archie, and a very lovely good morning to our listeners and viewers from around the world and our sister broadcast that has also connected to the transmission this morning.
Well, so every one of you who have tuned in this morning, we salute you and thank you very much for doing so, especially those of you in Nigeria. I do say it all the time that I know it costs you an arm and a leg, or those of you in Africa, but yet you continue to do so, making sure that you join us and bring your comments through as well. We are so grateful to you all. But now, let's now look at the stories. How are you doing, sir, in the first place?
Well, it's been a kind of a resting in the last couple of days. We should be on the road as usual, but sometimes I think we might likely want to take a bit of break and rest, especially the weather is changing. And that means, we want to make sure that we are fully MOT, to baffle the weather, even though some of us have lived there for over 2 decades. But, when the weather changes on us, we still have to quickly make sure that our MOT are all fully working in gear. Mm-hmm. And that means in the last 72 hours, that is exactly what I've been doing.
Yes, you need that rest, because I remember when I became ill a couple of weeks back, it wasn't a good thing at all. And the weather, it's all depending on the weather as well. When we walk around and you don't put your jackets on and stuff like that, then you have those issues. Well. Star Radio UK. Now, before we come to the stories that you have put here, I was asking the question. Yesterday I did talk about it Monday as well. Simon Ekpa's declaration that is going to come the 2nd of December. They're going to declare independence for Biafra. How do you see it?
Well, how do I say it? And it seems that we are just almost on the same mind. I mean, we've sent a message to Simon. I've sent a message to him. Just this morning. I didn't realize that you were also going to be picking on that because we want to hear from him, and that means he'll be telling us when his availability will be to come and talk to us on the Star Radio, UK network. But how is it going to be is a question that is in the minds of not just Nigerians now, also the international community that are monitoring, quite a lot of activities in Nigeria. And I can tell you that yesterday, I had the privilege to listen carefully for over 3 hours more when Simon Ekpa was being interviewed and, discussing, what expectations should be, will be coming up, in terms of, their declaration that is coming up in the next couple of minutes. It's a long one, but let's pick just a little bit out of it, from what Simon Ekpa, was saying yesterday regarding, what a lot of us should be expecting, in December 2nd, which is just a countdown from now. Let's see if we can hear from him.
In cold blood. Nobody asked question. Nobody, was held responsible until today. They went to Mazen Amdekano's house, fought everywhere, killed people there. Nobody was arrested. Nobody was held accountable. They went to Nkwo and killed, and still people they are killing never raised a gun against them, right? They were only having flag. They killed in Enugu. They killed in Ebonyi. So when Mazen Amdekano was kidnapped, they went to Kenya to kidnap him against international law, and I took over from there. And you know what I said in the first place? I said, under my leadership in this Biafra movement, you can never kill Biafra again and go free with Biafra land. So I raised an army called Biafra Liberation Army to confront these killers. And these killers, some of them are repentant Boko Haram. So they recruit them, push them to Biafra land, and people are not talking about that. And when they go to villages, they open RPG or GPNG and they start spraying bullets. Even farms are getting killed. So I said, under my leadership, under this Biafra movement, Nigeria can never kill any Biafra again and live to tell this story. So we raised the Biafra Liberation Army to deal with them, and they are neutralizing them. So when they neutralize them, what do? They will come after the villagers. And let me tell you, is that the kind of country you want to be proud of? Where you have people carrying guns, defending their land, and instead of them to go after those people that are defending the land, they will go against innocent people.
Well, that is more out of so many of what Simon was saying yesterday. But because I've listened to it, Simon, and his team, government and the exile and the de facto government, will be holding what we call a convention on the 2nd of December in Finland. A lot of representatives will be traveling from different parts of the world. And it seems that, we are now on the countdown, to that. Also, as Simon is saying that we know that the president has returned back yesterday from his trip to Saudi Arabia. And I can tell you that that was also is part of what people are discussing right now, because, the president, says that the Nigeria federal government stand on a two-state solution, to the current state of things when it comes to, the Palestinian and the Israel issue. And I just quickly want to read what the president is saying, because these are part of the argument that, the president can travel to Riyadh, as we heard from the vice president, while we are getting what the president said. This is exactly what the vice president himself said, yesterday. I mean, this was during the United Nations, United Nations conference that took place in September in New York. This is what the vice president said, as at the time when he was presenting the Nigerian case on the issue of Palestinian.
Today, we are all witnesses to the heart-wrenching situation in Gaza and other. We cannot discuss war and peace, conflicts and resolution, or humanitarian imperatives today without reflecting on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict that has been raging since 7 August last year. Of course, the conflict predates this period and has been simmering for a better part of half a century. What it tells us is that the international community has failed to live up to the spirit and aspirations of the United Nations to rid the world of inequality, violence, and domination of one people by another. Justice is antithetical to revenge. Freedom is an inalienable right and a natural entitlement that cannot be denied to any people. The Palestinian people deserve their independence. They deserve to have a home of their own in territories already recognized by this very assembly and by international law, which is being routinely ignored. Nigeria continues to urge efforts to bring back on track the two-state solution that offers the prospect for a new beginning for the region.
They offer a prospect for a new beginning, exactly what President Bola Tinubu was saying as well in Riyadh. In rules based on international order, states have the right of self-defense, but self-defense must take proportionality into account in line with global legal, diplomatic, and moral frameworks. Today in Riyadh, which was 2 days ago now, I addressed the fellow world leaders on issues surrounding the prolonged Israel-Palestinian conflict. I reiterate Nigerian historical support for its two-state solution, which is a vision grounded in the principle of equality and mutual recognition. I also call upon the world leaders to work towards exploring new paths to peace and bringing an immediate end to this conflict. Whether there will be conflict in Nigeria, that the world will now be also telling President Bola Tinubu we are just on a countdown to December 2nd.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is Star Radio UK. It's quite an interesting submission by the president. And I picked something from his statement, and I'm going to use that to introduce the next listen. He was saying that, he said, freedom cannot be denied any people. Freedom cannot be denied any people. So can freedom be denied the people of Biafra? What about the Yoruba? What about those in the Middle Belt who think, no, we think we are being marginalized? And what about the Arawa people, those in the North who think, no, we think that the amalgamation and everything that has gone on is, out. We just forget it and let's move on with our lives. Because the ex-governor, Aregbesola, has warned of a possible revolution in Nigeria. Now, I saw that story and I'm like, we have the military high command that has promised government that, look, we are not going to involve ourselves with any coup or anything or uprising or anything of the sort. So where is this revolution that he's talking about or is envisaging going to come from? Yomi.
Well, the first thing is, who is Aregbesola? Aregbesola is also a Yoruba man that was a former governor of Osun State. And the question is, each time, they exit that office, it seems that common sense comes back to their brain, just like, we had Jonathan telling us that, the unity of Nigeria is only fostered by the British government. So Aregbesola is also speaking, this was actually on Sunday when he was having an engagement, and this is exactly, what Aregbesola told us. Trying to see if we can bring his background in quickly as well. Just bear with us in just about a few minutes. I think that should come up. Yeah, that is Aregbesola behind me on the screen there. And Aregbesola says that it seems that the war might be getting closer. Exactly what Sowore was saying just about 2 days ago when he was interviewed. I'll see if I can get the sound clip of that. But what the ex-governor, Aregbesola, is now warning of a possible revolution in Nigeria. And it goes like this: whatever does not give appropriate opportunity or rights to the people will be resisted no matter what you do. If other things failed, people can revolt. If we are conscious of all these and understanding the consequences of things getting out of hand, we will be interested in finding the best way to govern ourselves. This is the former governor of Osun State, Aregbesola, that has raised the alarm over what is described as a worsening economic, political, and spiritual condition in Nigeria. He stated that if I left unaddressed, this condition could lead to war, and it seems that that is the message that many people are discussing. And let's go to Omoyele Sowore, that was also interviewed on a podcast that has went viral. Omoyele Sowore also stated clearly that as things goes right now, the Igbos or the Biafra have actually exited Nigeria, and it's not just talking about the Biafra alone. It says, and I quote, that as much as anyone that leaves Nigeria is already exiting the country at whatever you might think of. But as we all know, Sowore, one of the AAC presidential aspirant, a revolutionary, and also, the activist, was speaking, during this interview that he held, and it seems that, we can pick some of what he says, but the part that he said is, there is a secret memo in the government that whenever we want to take charge in this country, be careful of the Igbos. Don't give them the position. Don't give them the opportunities. I am not the one quoting these. This is exactly what Omoyele Sowore himself is saying, and I think we have a sound clip to that so that we can add that to the conversation this morning. Once again, if you've just joined us, I know it's a very tight Wednesday edition of the morning show. We hope to have the Prime Minister, Government in Exile of the Biafra, joining us very soon. He'll be telling us exactly when his availability will be so that we can be able to take through what we should be expecting and how these declarations will go about. But this is exactly what Sowore had to say.
Nigeria has an Igbo problem. There is a secret memo in government that whenever we want to take charge in this country, be careful of the Igbo. Don't give them position. Don't give them opportunity. Otherwise, they will over. For an Igbo man to survive in Nigeria, as it is currently put together, Nigeria must break. Wait, the meeting you had with Nnamdi Kanu, yes. You are telling us now that Nnamdi Kanu, don't you know what happened, the pogrom in this country, where people were slaughtered and their bodies and their heads placed inside the train going down south? Even our parents. Wow. Tell us, Igbo, in 2024, detaining Nnamdi Kanu against all the court orders, against all the court ruling.
Well, I come back again to you in the studio, Mr. Archie. It looks like Nigeria is going through a very rough time, and if care is not taken, a lot might happen in the next couple of weeks and months and years ahead.
Well, there's lots that we want to talk about, but we have to just move on because God willing, tomorrow or the day after, we will try to look at those baits because we are looking at what are the push factors, what is making people think that I'm being marginalized, when people are desperate. Well, when I talk about desperation, well, the CBN is saying that, well, households should express pessimism and they should expect further rise in cost of living. So as if they've killed you is not enough, now they want to just splash your head and finish you together completely. Yomi, what else, what expectations should we have now?
Well, you're quite right. As inflation is biting, money is becoming very difficult. Nigerians are now owing a lot of debt, to the international community that has gone up to $3.5 billion. There's nothing wrong if you're borrowing, but if that money is not being stolen and used for all kind of different reasons as well. So this morning, inflation, household expresses pessimism. Expect further rise in cost of living. This morning, I have to rescue someone that has now been stuck because they can't get to the hospital. We can't continue like this. That means that, many Nigerians are falling into the trap of poverty, but they're also falling into the trap of medical care. According to the Central Bank of Nigeria, is now warning many Nigerians and consumers believe that the cost of transportation, house purchases, purchase of car vehicles, rent, and medical expenses that I have to rescue someone this morning will experience increase over the next 6 months, not just 1 month. So Nigerians should beef up for the next 6 months if anything is going to get better. This is coming from, the survey by the Central Bank of Nigeria. Consumers says that they will spend their income on the basic items such as food, other household items, education, transportation, electricity, and medical expenses. The CBN Overall Consumer Confidence Index outlook is attributed to the outlook of consumers on 3 key dimensions: economic condition, family financial situation, and the family income. Remember that many governors are still not able to pay the 70,000 minimum wage, even though the 30,000 many workers are still being owed like 3 months in advance.
Well, do you think what is happening is a good thing for the country at all? And do you think that is pushing other people to say, no, we're not going to sit down, as we've been saying in Ghana? Let me say good morning to Bishop Adeshina. My Bishop, I hope you are doing very, very well. Thank you very much for joining in as well. Now, let's now look at the debt of the country, because we are looking at cost of living that is going up. But every Nigerian owes 619,501 naira as national debt rises. As you've been saying, loans, going for loans or borrowing, there's nothing wrong with that. But what we use it for, as whether it is impacting the life of the majority of the people, or we are using it for our own parochial interests or our own personal economy, that's another thing. But before I come to you, Bishop Adesina says, I have already said it. From December and January, there will be chronic financial and food crisis in Nigeria. Just summing up what I'm saying. Yomi.
Well, many analyses like Bishop have already, spoken, in different fora and in different, discussion that the situation is going to get worse. The bag of rice is going up, as many Nigerians cannot even afford to eat rice today. But it's not just the rice that we're talking about. We're now talking about the debt. When this information came out and, we posted it out, the response of some of the Nigerians is that, why should I be asked to repay what I have not benefited from? But the government might say that, they took out this loan, to be able to do things, in the infrastructure system, in the security, in the electricity. But the average Nigerians today are complaining that some of these, infrastructures are not adequate enough, to fulfill, the lifestyle that they would love to have. So the headline coming out this morning is again not a very good one from Nigeria. The most African, top notch, as we're told, the black African nations and all kind of different things. But it looks like Nigeria is going through a lot of troubles. The federal government international debt servicing gulps $3.5 billion in 9 months. Again, this is coming from the Central Bank of Nigeria under the leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the Finance Minister, Mr. Wale Edun, that is just behind me, in that particular camera right there. So what do we know? The highest monthly debt servicing payment in 2024 literally took place about 2-3 months ago in May, amounting to almost $854.37 million. This is the highest monthly expenditure. Even in 2023, it was only $641.70 million that was recorded in July. The federal government has now spent $3.58 billion servicing the country's foreign debt in the first 9 months of 2024. According to the data source of the Central Bank of Nigeria CBN report on international payment statistics show that the amount represents about 39.79% increase from the 2.56 billion spent the same period in 2023. According to the report, while the highest monthly debt servicing was occurred in May, the trend in international debt servicing by the CBN is rising cost of debt obligation. What is causing the debt and why are we having to be in debt? First, we got to remember that Nigeria is not a productivity country. Mostly everything that we use, we consume, is being imported into the country, and that is creating a lot of resources that we need to continue to borrow the money. From information that is reaching my desk, it looks like I'm not sure whether President Bola Tinubu was able to acquire a $5 billion debt from the Saudi Arabians. Maybe that is the reason why he has to go in line with whatever the Arab countries want.
Well, that's why I was saying, I was going to ask you the next question, that I thought the president went to get a $5 billion loan from Saudi. So how is that going to be panning out for them? I mean, is that going to be reducing the cost of living, or what are they using it for per se? Yomi?
Well, like I said, the presidency hasn't released any statement. The president returned back late last night from his trip. 5 billion is a lot of money, but we do know that, as things goes right now, there is no communique whether that has been approved or not. But even if that is approved, it would then add more to the debt that Nigeria owe, and whether that would kickstart an economy this morning, because we know that the dollar this morning is also going into the AWOL this morning. And according to the report coming to our desk this morning on the Star Radio again this morning, that the dollar has gone a little bit more than they expected. That means, again, the need for dollar is coming up, but we are not having enough, in terms of our production, to stop, our need of the dollar. So the naira may depreciate to 1,993 naira against the dollar. Nigeria's naira has been projected to depreciate further to 1,993 per dollar in the coming days. As we speak right now, it's just about 1,650. So within the next couple of days, it might push to 2,000. I'll come back again to you in the studio, Mr. Archer, at exactly 11:28 this morning on the Star Radio UK. Please share the program and invite others to join us as well on a Monday to Friday when we kickstart the morning show.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. OLAYOMI KOIKI in our North London studios. I'm actually here in the South studios, and we are bringing you updates from Nigeria. Okay, now let's move on. I thought that after the hashtag, that demonstration that took place back in the day, the police treatment of Nigerians would have stopped. But it looks like policemen in Nigeria's capital reportedly shoot man 21 who tried escaping extortion from them. Yomi, tell us more.
Well, the worst institution in Nigeria is the police, and we saw how that was reported after the EndSARS, right here in the UK, Member of Parliament, when the EndSARS issues took place and many Nigerians were killed, by the current government then, who was Buhari, and also the Lagos State governor that should be held accountable for the death because it happened in Lagos. It was just not in Lagos. Oyigbo was also happening in the southeast, where many innocent, Igbos were killed. But this morning, another bad headline coming out of Nigeria. Over 1,500 Nigerians were killed alone in October. I mean, you wonder whether when people say we are not at war, I always say Nigeria is a war zone, because the amount of things that is happening in Nigeria is exactly what many other war zones are experiencing today. If 1,500 Nigerians were killed in October alone in an 861 incident of kidnapping, attacks, and report. And I can tell you that the new terrorist organization that is known as Lukarawas is now trying to send delegation to meet another terrorist called Bello Tuji, another terrorist, so that they can work together. Also, they've recruited about over 500 innocent Nigerians, whether each one of them were paid the 1 million as they were told, because according to the terrorist group, they were ready to pay anyone to join them for 1 million naira. The question is Nigeria going to be Islamized, or are we just going through a difficult time like any other countries around the world, and we will scale through all these? Will the government of President Bola Tinubu be able to curtail all these? The October 2024 Nigerian Security Report of Organization highlights a very deteriorating security condition, with about 51% rise in fatalities and 24.42% increase in adoptions. At least 1,545 persons have been killed and 971 others adopted across the country. Let's listen. Is in Yoruba, but I'll try to see if I can, give it to us in the translation. This happened just about a few days ago as well, which will be added to what we're discussing this morning.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is time. Okay.
For Yoruba nation, or for Yoruba nation, or for Yoruba nation. We kò ní ṣàìsọ kí ẹgbẹ́ máa tẹ́tí lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ kí ọ̀gbá máa fiyèsí ilẹ̀ ìjọ́kò tó jọ. Tí bàbá bí alákọ̀ọ́rí ọmọ tó sì sọ ní ìtìjú nù náà ń kọ́ ṣebí ọmọ ilé wọn ní ṣe ní ìhànà tí ń gbẹ ní ìjàyè gbáǹkọ́ ṣebí tí Ọ̀yọ́ là ń wí. Ẹjọ́ fọ́nrán tí mo fẹ́ send sí yín on the 5th oṣù kọkànlá November.
So first and foremost, the video is saying, just so that we can get it quickly, that the video that is sending to us took place on the 1st of November. Lying on the floor is a young man that has been killed by the Fulani terrorists. Let's listen further.
Àwọn kan mọ́tò kan ń bọ̀ ní Ọ̀sẹ̀ local government. Mọ́tò yẹn wá break ní Ọ̀sẹ̀ local government.
A vehicle is coming from a particular local government. The vehicle breaks down, just to narrate it quickly because of our time constraint this morning. We know that these individuals were kidnapped. The family were consulted by the terrorists and the family. They negotiated a particular amount of money. The money was still being looked for when the brother was shot. 3 others were released, but this particular person died. I can also confirm from a diaspora here in UK that their family member, we've not been told to give the exact location, was kidnapped. Negotiation is going on as we speak right now. When the person is finally released, we might be able to have him to speak to us on the Star Radio UK network.
Well, is it safe to be in that country? Do we pull out? What do you think about all that? OLAKUNLE, good morning to you, and thank you very much for joining us as well. We will go back to Yomi for him to bring you all the other stories that is making the rounds, and then what is happening on the social media this morning as well. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much. As we were telling us last week, the death of Lagbaja, and that means that in the next couple of days, which is tomorrow, it will be finally, be laid to rest. There will be, a wake keep that will happen, according to the press statement released by the military yesterday, that Lagbaja will be buried this week, and we continue to pray for the family and the loved ones, and those that knows him, especially from where he hailed from in Osun State. According to the information that has been released by the military, the obituary of Lagbaja goes like this. Tarid Lagbaja, as we know, was announced dead last week, Tuesday, by the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. A lot of question is still surrounding his death, but we want to focus on the death itself because, when we die, that means we will have to go through the final burial rites. So according to the Nigerian military, Tarid Abiodun Lagbaja, a lieutenant general, the chief of army staff, the 23rd, chief of army staff died on November 5th. In the funeral arrangement Thursday, where there will be the army headquarters, garrison parade ground, Mogadishu, Cantonment, Abuja, and then on Friday there will be the funeral service. So that is on that, and then we come back quickly because of my time this morning with you, Mr. Archie. I know we should have been, yesterday and day before yesterday, but we hope to catch up again tomorrow. Okonjo-Iweala, the WTO to convene a special meeting for the selection of the next DG. The incumbent Director General Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala was the only candidate who indicated an interest in the role as of 8th of November nomination deadline. Maybe it might be the same person coming back, as we know that he has been in charge of that particular, World Trade Organization. There was a bit of altercation between himself and the Biafra when, a message was circulating that Okonjo-Iweala actually signed a loan to the Biafra. That was denied by him. And Simon Ekpa was shocked, because he says he was waiting because a lot of atrocities happened in Nigeria. He never talked about it, but he was quick to come and talk about, he's not giving any loan, to the Biafra government. Let's come back to the social media, what is trending at exactly 11, and let's see what many Nigerians are saying under that particular post of Tinubu. This one says, Tinubu is a core example of, I will not put the rest out because it's not the right word to put on the screen on this particular network. He's greatly doing the job of the errand sent by him. That is all I can say from there. According to the next one, says, I will handle the economy while you handle security. Little did the country know that they were entering one chance. Many people would know what chance is. One chance is, you might be told that, there's a mobile phone and you end up going with an empty box. That happened as well in UK and likewise across the different part of the world, especially for those that want something for nothing. So we remember that Tinubu was saying that he would handle the security. And I was able to come across a particular clip of him in 2023 during the campaign trail. And let's see if I can bring that in, if I can still have it here. When Tinubu, was, during the campaign trail, there was a lot of what Tinubu was saying then. But as we know, as usual, they are easy to say, but when they get there is a different thing entirely. So let's see if we can hear what Tinubu was saying just as they were campaigning in the 2023 led to the election then. Let's hear a little bit from Tinubu right on the screen.
It's about thinking. It's about praying. I always tell him, no matter how short a man is, he will still see the sky. Sky, and it's making the progress.
Well, I'm not sure whether there's a progress because the condition in Nigeria is getting very tough. Let's go to two more comments, and I'll come back again to you, Mr. Archie. This individual on the X handle Sako436 why you should start addressing the mass killing of Nigerians at home. Charity, they say, begin at home. But you, sir, have shown a nonchalant attitude in addressing the issues that threaten our sovereignty, from the insecurity to the mass hunger and poverty, lack of access to many things. According to Bad Lieutenant, says, Tinubu, you have failed as a leader. Since you took office over a year, half price in Nigeria have shot up. House, I believe is what he wants to say. House prices have shot up for about 400%. From the food to the petrol, everything else, the Naira has dropped to 1,800. Well, it might be going to 2,000, according to the report. And the last one says, Fulani are forming a new terrorist group, and these, among many others, ills don't worth addressing. That's coming from Spoiled Kid. And that's how far we can go from here, Mr. Archie. University of Ibadan is trending, and the reason for that is 17 days, no water and no electricity at one of the most prestigious institution during the regional government of the late legend Obafemi Awolowo. 17 days, people have been buying pure water, and some have been using candles and all kind that is not of a good safety. But imagine here in the UK, 17 days, no water, no electricity. That hospital itself would completely have to decongest everything inside, because you can imagine the food and everything that will be used. It shows that Nigeria is going through a very rough time. And as people are saying, let's divide it so that we can manage it. Some say that is not the best option. Let's stick together and form how we can bring it better.
Well, can it be made better? That is the question on the lips of most people as well. But this is Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Comfort Olugunja says that was where a first-class Oba was killed by Fulani, that is Olofun, in Ondo State. Now, this new terrorist group that seems to have been formed, where they are going to be having discussions or whatever, they are saying they come from whether Niger or whichever bit. But Yomi, before we go, how dangerous are they?
Well, every terrorist organization are dangerous. And let me take you back to 2005 in London, the London bombing. We saw that the last person, the fourth bombers, even as the network was shut down, left out of the train station, came up onto the bus, and it was still able to explode the device. That means that, terrorists have the same ideology to kill, maim, and kill as many innocent people. The new one that has now been brought into the country that the military told us last week have already taken many lives so far. I mean, I'm talking about over 15 people have been killed. They are recruiting more. And they're also trying to negotiate with the other one that is called Kingpin Bello Tuji as the leader of the new terrorist group. Lakurua have sent delegation to him.
Wow.
And all this is happening in Nigeria.
As we say on this platform, may Nigeria not happen to you. It's been a long time since I said that, but today let me reiterate that once again. Well. Yomi, before you go,
Well, it is the Star Radio UK. The only way you can pick the news, like I said, we're in touch with the PM, the Prime Minister, Governor and External of the Biafra. We hope to have him on our network, hopefully very soon to discuss with us. We're also trying to bring in Showole to come and speak to us. All this will be happening very soon. And hopefully in the new year, we might be returning back, very tough with a new brand of Niger Diaspora or Niger Voices, where we decide how that is going. But for now, on a Monday to Friday, you'll catch me up when we come up with the news from Nigeria and the Nigerian diaspora. Most importantly, as the Yoruba campaign continue, Igbo will continue to say, without a Yoruba nation, nothing can happen. But Bakitoye said the same thing. And as we all know, things are falling apart on a daily basis in Nigeria.
Yomi, thank you very much. Have a lovely day. We'll catch up later.
Bye for now, Mr. Achi.
Bye. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that has been Mr. OLAYOMI KOIKI for you on this wonderful day. And thank you very much to every one of you who tuned in this morning to actually listen to us. There has been quite a mind-boggling story. A
very good morning and welcome back, to the transmission here in Nigeria or in London, in Canada, wherever you are. But the most important thing is this transmission is coming from the United Kingdom. I'm going to go on a short break. Those of you watching me on Twitter, and also I'm going to switch my camera off because I need to do some movement. And I don't want to, I might bring this camera back close to my face. And then we might, do some changes because I need to move things around. And as you all know, I can't give too much out. So let me, bring this in. Let me remove Archie from the screen because we're done with the Star Radio UK right now. I believe we should listen to David Lammy as he says while he was in Lagos, while, Britain is not ready to make any payment to any reparation. So if anybody's expecting the British government to pay, they are not going to make any payment. They want to keep Nigeria for a very long time. But that's not what I want to discuss about this morning. I want to focus on what Aregbesola is saying. Who is Aregbesola and why is he saying that there's going to be war in Nigeria? Many of you continue to accuse me of war, but Aregbesola is also endorsing and supporting that I am saying the same thing, that there is going to be war in Nigeria if things is not well managed. And that's exactly where we're going to kickstart this morning. Again, we won't be long on this program because I have quite a lot of things to do as well. But we hope, I'm trying to bring my camera in, not sure why my camera is not coming on. Bear with me. Camera doesn't seem to be coming up. I don't know why. I'm not sure why the camera is not coming on. Alright. It's saying that my camera is not available. I'm not sure why. So let's leave that for now. Bear with me. Let's go with this like this first before I come back.
Gbogbo ẹ̀yin ọmọ ọ̀dọ́ tá a jọ ń káàkiri ọ̀dọ́jọ́ ni wá. Ẹ má jẹ́ kí a fi àyè gba Fúlàní lórí ilẹ̀ àwọn bàbá wa. Ẹ má jẹ́ ká bú ọba mọ́. Ẹ má jẹ́ ká bú jòyè mọ́. Nígbà tá a la fẹ́ jà fún àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ wa, táwa ń kọ́kọ́ ń bú ọba, tá ń bú jòyè. Èmi náà ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ rí. Bọ́ mo pera mi padà. Ẹ má jẹ́ ká bú àgbààgbà kankan mọ́, ẹ má bolóṣèlú kankan. Ẹ̀rù kálukú ń bẹ̀rù wọn ò lè sọ̀rọ̀. Ọba ò lè sọ, ìjòyè lè sọ. Ẹ jẹ́ ká ronú. Ẹ má jẹ́ ká bá àwọn bàbá jà mọ́, ẹ má jẹ́ á bú wọn mọ́, ẹ má jẹ́ á ṣe wọ́n ra wọn lá pẹ̀lú wọn. Àwọn àgbà tán bá jó lóṣèlú, tá a bá fẹ́ kọ́ wọn rẹ̀ wá lọ́wọ́, á gbé wọn mọ́ra, á gbé wọn mọ́ra ni. À ní bú wọn mọ́. Ẹ má jẹ́ á ṣèjẹ̀gbọ́n, ẹ má jẹ́ á dàlúrú. A lè gba ẹ̀tọ́ wa láì ṣèjẹ̀gbọ́n. A lè gba ẹ̀tọ́ wa láì yìnbọn. A lè gba ẹ̀tọ́ wa láì dàlúrú. Gbogbo protest mo ṣe ní ìlú Nàìjíríà, mi ò rí bí tí mo ti ẹnìkan lè sọ pé mo pààyàn tàbí mo jó nǹkan náà tàbí mo bà nǹkan jẹ́. Mo lọ písù torí pé olówó lèmi náà tí ò bá sólówó lára ń dì mọ́. Gbogbo nǹkan tọ́lọ́run fún yẹn lọ́lọ́run fún mi. Mi ṣe tálákà tó dé pé mo dìde fún jà Yorùbá. Big man ni mí, àwọn tó jẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ mi tó súnmọ́ mi tó ní owó ní kí ni mo wá lọ bẹ̀. Pé sọ́wọ́ ni mò ń fẹ́ ni kí n sọ yìí tí mo fẹ́, mo ní ìsọ̀rọ̀ owó. Àní ọ̀rọ̀ ìran mi ni mò ń sọ. Kí n wọ gbowó, kí n gbéra, kí n pé mò ń lọ ọ̀dọ̀ ọba àgbowó, mò ń lọ ọ̀dọ̀ oníbodè òfin gbowó, kí n kójó wọlé kọ́kàn mi balẹ̀, kí n dá wa mọ́tò kí n mọ́ rìn bọ̀, kí Fúlàní mọ́ dá mi dúró títì. kí n délé kí bàbá sọ pé kí n gbé tírélà sùn kí n mọ gbé lọ àwọn bàbá wo lè lóko mọ́ wọn ò lè lóńdò. ẹ jẹ́ ká fọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ ká ti àwọn bàbá wa lẹ́yìn ká dá security ti wa lẹ̀ ká sọ fún wọn kí wọ́n bá wa fọwọ́ tì í ká lé wọn kó nu oko wa ẹ ṣé mo dúpẹ́ Jésù Olúwa wa.
Dilapidated health infrastructure, what has that got to do with the federal government? If a child cannot go to school in a local government, primary school, what has that got to do with the federal government? If the feeder roads are not good, what has that got to do with the federal government? They need to wake up from this slumber, do the right thing at the right time, at the right moment, before their names are written in the book of infamy.
All right. Mr. Shield, I will stay with you for a bit because I see your point. So, from what the accountant, Mr. Agule, has explained, it looks like the thinking of the framers of the law or the proposal. I know that Mr. Ayodele Taiwo had posted yesterday that they will engage the northern governors so that some of these gray areas will be sorted out. And I hope that we're going to get the outcome of that conversation. But I listened to Governor Abdullahi Sule of Nasarawa State yesterday on our sister program, and he did mention that, look, what they want is let status quo remain. But it looks like the thinking of the framers of the bill are saying we want ease of accountability and tracking as well as promote subnational enterprise. But is the North also seeing this as some sort of fiscal federalism or restructuring through the back door? Is that a perception?
It's just clearly the point. What you are saying is that there has been this call for restructuring. But for the North now, if I were to speak for the North, I would not speak for restructuring. I would think of giving people what they want. Yoruba nation wants a Oduduwa Republic. In the name of God, give them Oduduwa Republic. This is 21st century. We have a right to choice. Biafra wants Biafra. Give them Biafra. Give every other nationality what they need. Because as far as I know, the relationship is sound. There is geometrical increase in suspicion across all expressions. The trust is not there. Suspicion is not there. And people want to develop at their own speed. If you want to go at the speed of rocket, please, you should be allowed to go at the speed of rocket. If you want to go at the speed of snail, go at the speed of the snail at your own peril, at the consequences coming to you. But for now, if anybody is thinking that physical federalism is the solution to Nigeria, he is not even understanding the geography, not understanding the history, not understanding.
There is no land called Nigeria. There is no language called Nigeria. There are no people called Nigerians. We are only deceiving ourselves.
We are not Nigerian.
Okay, where is Nigeria? Where is the land called Nigeria? What is the Nigerian language? We are nations that had been forced together to live in one pathetic country. So anybody who goes there today to say pray for Nigeria, that person is just deceiving himself, because the people who want to be that Nigeria had not sat down to agree if they want to be Nigeria.
thinking about how we've been having this conversation about the unity of Nigeria. And I reflect back at some of the prominent statements made by some of our founding leaders. And I feel that probably this will help us to have a conversation on the Nigerian unity. I just brought four, not to bore you. First, and I quote, not my statement, Nigeria is not a nation. It's a mere geographical expression. There are no Nigerians in the same sense as there are English, Welsh, or French. The word Nigerian is merely a distinctive appellation to distinguish those who live within the boundaries of Nigeria from those who do not. This is accredited to Chief Obafemi Awolowo, the former Prime Minister of the Western region. The second one, and I quote, it is true that we politicians always delight in talking loosely about the unity of Nigeria. 60 years ago, there was no country called Nigeria. What is now Nigeria consisted of several large and small communities, all of which were different in their outlooks and beliefs. The advent of the British and that of Western education has not materially altered the situation, and the many and varied communities have not knit themselves into a composite unit. This is accredited to Sir Amadu Bello, former Premier of Northern Region. The third, and I quote, since 1914, the British government has been trying to make Nigeria into one country. But the Nigerian people themselves are historically different in their backgrounds, in their religious beliefs and customs, and do not show themselves any sign of willingness to unite. The Nigerian unity is only a British intention for the country.
If you don't allow we Biafrans to go, that zoological republic called Nigeria will be a worse place than Somalia, and today it is happening. And if you have not applied for your Somalian visa, please try and do so. Should I say Somali visa? Try and do so as quickly as possible, because the zoo is on the path of destruction, and there is nothing man can do to reverse it. Mark today's date and what I'm telling you. Nigeria will be destroyed beyond human comprehension.
Impediment to Yoruba development is the impediment to Odua development. Without Nigeria, we won't be where we are. 1962, we were far ahead of South Korea and North Korea. We were far ahead of China even. We had television before France. We had radio before South Africa. Now look at where we are today. I think it's a shame that even any Yoruba man can be talking about restructuring at this point in time. What are we restructuring? This country that is already shot to pieces? I don't think that's what we want. But they are always talking about giving Nigeria a chance. The patience of Yoruba with Nigeria has come to an end.
Nigeria is a star. Yoruba nation. No going back. 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 What do we want? Yoruba nation. Yoruba nation. No going back. Yoruba nation. No going back. Nigeria is a star. Yoruba nation. No going back. 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 What do we want? Yoruba nation. Yoruba nation. No going back. Yoruba nation. No going back. Nigeria is a star. Yoruba nation. No going back. 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 What do we want? Yoruba nation. Yoruba nation. No going back. Yoruba nation. No going back. Nigeria is a star. Yoruba nation. No going back. 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 What do we want? Yoruba nation. Yoruba nation. No evil go far. Call them by their name. Them be 200 million. Moo moo.
Oh yes, all the Africans. 200 million fools.
200 million. Moo moo. See them suffer, them subsidy, them. Nothing go happen.
You can do nothing. Everybody. Nothing. Nothing that any of you can do.
And my biggest fear for Dangote refinery is because even this one that he's refining, NNPC only supplied him about 4 ships or so. The rest of the 11 ships he bought it from America. That's for crude now. So essentially, he is going to still factor in the forex I used in bringing this crude in from America. That's number one. Number two is that will NNPC stop importing? I do not think so, because NNPC said very clearly the other time that they will not allow monopoly in the oil sector, which means that they will most likely continue to import, crude, fuel, petrol into the country, or then buy from Dangote and sell.
If you don't want monopoly, you have your refinery. Port Harcourt is there.
It's not going to work. They've postponed the operations of Port Harcourt refinery for 6 times. 6 times now.
We're living
6 times.
We're living a racket.
And guess what? President Buhari, former president, spent over 1.5 billion. In total now, the successive governments in Nigeria, they've spent over 20 billion trying to fix our moribund refineries.
Mr. Sheriff Quadri, if Nigeria was a company on the stock exchange and you had knowledgeable shareholders, because you would have been declaring serious losses, what do you think would happen?
Declare bankruptcy.
And what do you think the shareholders will do?
Africa is realizing its potential. And the truth is, if I'm in the Gulf, when I speak to foreign ministers, they're talking about the continent of Africa. It's important, I think, that the UK is present in that conversation. We have historic relationships, because what I've heard is that the UK stepped back somewhat over the last few years. It reflects on our trading figures. There is much that I think we can do together over the coming months and years.
We can't have this conversation without talking about reparations. You're in Lagos. There was a huge port here where during the slave trade era, Nigeria, among other nations, pushed for reparations. First of all, do you believe the UK should pay reparations?
Look, I think that when we look back on that period, there were many horrors. I am the descendant of enslaved people, so I recognize that. But what I'm interested in is looking forward, looking to the future, looking to deepening those partnerships across the Commonwealth family, trade and investment, growth. That is what gives young people jobs.
Would that mean a form of repayment to members of the Commonwealth?
It's not about the transfer of cash. That is not the debate I think that people are wanting to have. They're wanting to talk about the future.
What would reparations mean to you?
It's about partnership. It's about working together. It's about climate finance. It's about tech and creativity.
The worst humanitarian crisis currently in the world is happening in Africa. Sudan is at the brink of collapse. Your government has not been very vocal about it.
I see that there is a recent DEC appeal for Gaza and Lebanon. I'd love to see something commensurate, frankly, for Sudan. I intend to make Sudan my priority over the course of this next month. I will be in New York raising the issues, both the humanitarian issues, but also how we bring the parties together to try and reach a peaceful outcome.
What would you say to Sudanese right now?
I'd say to Sudanese that I stand with you. The tragedy of what is unfolding in Sudan, I hear, and one of my roles over the coming weeks is to try and put Sudan back into the conversations, back up the agenda of international.
This is the past. We need to talk about the future. There are many countries now who want to use guilt to try and exploit the UK. They ask for reparations. I saw it as a trade minister. It's not culture wars. I was at the WTO. I won't name the minister from another country. And he was telling me that we needed to give up some of the things that we were doing because of colonialism and because they needed time to develop. These arguments are a scam. Don't fall for it. We need to make sure that we put this country first. We work well with our neighbours. We work well with other countries. But we have to look after ourselves too.
Well, I mean, those advocating for reparations would say, shouldn't we just make up for some of the damage we did through the slavery? And as a black woman saying that, they may find that hard to understand from you.
Well, there are many things that the British Empire got wrong, but there are many amazing things that the British Empire also did. And we need to be honest about that and stop pretending that it was all bad. The British Empire ended slavery, the Atlantic slave trade. We need to talk about that more. This is the past. We need to talk about the future.
Well, and good afternoon, and we have about 60 minutes maximum. That will make it 2 hours into the discussion. So I'm just going to crack on and go straight into the discussion because I was trying to get my camera up, but it seems I've been able to do exactly that. Mo kí gbogbo wa níbikíbi tí ẹ ti ń gbọ́ wa tí ẹ ti ń wò wá ní gbogbo ibi tí Elédùmarè bá ní ká wà. Welcome to my live broadcast, and as we all know, this program continue to educate and also prepare us for our quest to self-determination. So mo kí gbogbo wa pé àkọ́kọ́ tẹ́ máa darapọ̀ mọ́ wa lélẹ́yìí, ìkànnì tó ń pè ní Yorùbá Nation Campaign Conversation lórí ìkànnì Ọláyọmí Kóìkì tí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ń pè ní Koikimedia. What do we call self-determination? As it now stands, it looks like many of our past leaders present are also now talking about a war that is booming very fast in Nigeria. That is going to be the discussion this morning. But I want us to always remember that self-determination under Article 3 is an indigenous peoples have the right to self-determination. By virtue of that right, they freely determine their political status, freely pursue their economic, social, and cultural development. And that's exactly what we are discussing this morning. But I want to take us to what I've read, and I believe I should share that with us, which is Aregbesola. First and foremost, who is Aregbesola? A lot of us knows him. And please, like I always say, don't ever ask me to speak Yoruba because I'm not communicating to you alone. I'm speaking to the international world, and I'm preparing them just in case war break loose. But kò mí pa ní sọ Yoruba, but I don't want anybody to always come and tell me on my platform that we are running a Yoruba program. It has to be a Yoruba, discussion alone. I don't want to waste too much of our time, but a lot of us knows that Aregbesola is also one prominent individual within the Yoruba people. But today, Aregbesola has already spoken the minds of millions of Yoruba people, spoken the minds of millions of Nigerians that are scared to do so, even though we have been speaking here, but many Nigerians do not want to believe that what I am saying here is loading and is going to likely lead to another civil war if care is not taken. Nobody wants to see a war break loose in Nigeria, but as it stands right now, it is likely going to happen. Let me first bring in this particular video. There's a few videos I'm going to add to this broadcast. Let's listen to Chiwore from here.
Problem. There is a secret memo in government that whenever we want to take charge in this country, be careful of the Igbo. Don't give them position. Don't give them opportunity. Otherwise, they will over. For an Igbo man to survive in Nigeria, as it is currently put together, Nigeria must break.
Wait, the meeting you had with Nnamdi Kanu.
Yes.
You are telling us now that Nnamdi Kanu...
Don't you know what happened, the called pogrom in this country, where people were slaughtered and their bodies and their heads placed inside the train going down south? Even our parents.
Wow.
Tell us, Igbo, in 2024, detaining Nnamdi Kanu against all the court orders, against all the court rulings. Nigeria has an Igbo problem. There is a secret memo in government that whenever we want to take charge in this country, be careful of the Igbo. Don't give them position. Don't give them opportunity. Otherwise, they will over. For an Igbo man to survive in Nigeria, as it is currently put together, Nigeria must break.
Wait, the meeting you had...
And the question is, do we force ourselves to live together if we can avoid it now? I got to take a short, quick break again. Emma Binu, it's quite a lot of calls coming through, and this one is important. I got to take it. So let me give us this and I'll come back.
Impediment to Yoruba development is the impediment to Odua development. Without Nigeria, we won't be where we are. 1962, we were far ahead of South Korea and North Korea. We were far ahead of China even. We had television before France. We had radio before South Africa. Now look at where we are today. I think it's a shame that even any Yoruba man can be talking about restructuring at this point in time. What are we restructuring? This country that is already shot to pieces? I don't think that's what we want. But they are always talking about giving Nigeria a chance. The patience of Yoruba with Nigeria has come to an end. Impediment to Yoruba development is the impediment to Odua development. Without Nigeria, we won't be where we are. 1962, we were far ahead of South Korea and North Korea. We were far ahead of China even. We had television before France. We had radio before South Africa. Now look at where we are today. I think it's a shame that even any Yoruba man can be talking about restructuring at this point in time. What are we restructuring? This country that is already shot to pieces? I don't think that's what we want. But they are always talking about giving Nigeria a chance. The patience of Yoruba with Nigeria has come to an end. Impediment to Yoruba development is the impediment to Odua development. Without Nigeria, we won't be where we are. 1962, we were far ahead of South Korea and North Korea. We were far ahead of China even. We had television before France. We had radio before South Africa. Now look at where we are today. I think it's a shame that even any Yoruba man can be talking about restructuring at this point in time. What are we restructuring? This country that is already shot to pieces? I don't think that's what we want. But they are always talking about giving Nigeria a chance. the patience of Yoruba with Nigeria has come to an end. Impediment to Yoruba development is the impediment to Odua development. Without Nigeria, we won't be where we are. 1962, we were far ahead.
It might be known that we have to listen to that, but it's good that we listen to that because that is a Yoruba man. I forgot that my camera is here. I'm using my mobile phone. Show clear that I'm not using the laptop camera. I'm using my mobile phone. And that's why you can see, a clear background. That is Igbowo. That is the world map. Do not be deceived. That is my Quran. I came with this Quran 1998 in UK. I still have it here. The beautiful Quran in English. I have my beautiful map there. Nigeria is somewhere around here. And in Nigeria, there are many nations. This is Nigeria. So if I get my pen soon, Nigeria is somewhere around there. But don't be deceived that the world should tell us that we can't have multiple nations coming out of Nigeria. We need at least nothing less than 5 nations that will exit Nigeria. And one of them I exit at the beginning of this year. Towards the end of this year. I pray that the Biafra listen to all the discussion of Simon Ekpa. We have some crazy people that came online trying to pull him down, especially those crazy IPOB, the evil ones. The ones that never spoke to Nnamdi Kanu before. I had Nnamdi Kanu with Igbowo a meeting, and I always say it. That meeting will still remain confidential. But what Nnamdi Kanu told me and Igbowo is that Simon Ekpa is the one in charge. Simon Ekpa is the one in charge. So until Nnamdi Kanu can come and have another meeting with me, I care less whatever those IPOP idiots are talking about. If they like, they can come and attack me. It doesn't make any difference to me. Because some of them never even have the privilege to have that. And it was Nnamdi Kanu that called for that meeting. We didn't call for him. We didn't go and look for him. He wanted to speak to Igbowo, and Simon Ekpa reached out to me. The meeting was not 1 time, it was not 2 times, it was not 3 times. I would leave it like that. And there were a lot of things that were details in that particular meeting. So any bomb bastard IPOP come and tell me to shut up, that, I saw Chidi, that crazy guy in Canada, the one way, in prick be like nonsense. They try to bring in, Simon Ekpa down to the work he's doing. They say Simon Ekpa is the one, destroying the Southeast. Let the Southeast go down so that people can rebuild their life. That's exactly what's going to happen in Yoruba land. Everything will shut down. I have told them. They think we are joking. They think this time around is the British lies that they told all our leaders then, that they supported them one way or the other. We don't want to go into all that. This is a new breed of generation. I will work with Simon Ekpa. If any Yoruba wants to die, you better start dying now. Or better get punishing. So that is just to start the program. So, and I hope, most of you that are freedom fighter will understand that we are fighting one cause. Even if I see one Hausa man that is dedicated, I will make sure we sacrifice for them. So that when the government attack the Arewa, we will go after and protect them. That is if they are genuine. So nobody come and tell me about, one Biafra, any bastard Yoruba come and tell me that nonsense. My shit with bad, yeah. We are fighting something that got to do with life and death here. Some of you are using fake account. I come out every day with my full face and everything. You think I wear mask? Some of you can still travel. Some of you have planned to go to Nigeria now to go and do jiggy. I want to be and sorrow Yoruba nation. Put our life at risk. Did you hear what Simon Ekpa said? He has to stop everything he's doing. He can't go out and travel with his family. He can't go to club. Some of you on Friday now you'll be going to club and be doing jiggy. Do all kind of nonsense. We are the freedom fighter. A lot of things we have to restrict our life for. We need to anybody to buy me so shikolori or Biafra. We will work with Simon Ekpa and his government. And like I said, I will continue to consult my Babalawo to make sure that they pray for him, because there's a lot of attack on him spiritually. He's a brother, and I've told him he has my backing full time until Nnamdi Kanu comes out and change what he told me and Igbowo. Simon Ekpa remain your leader. Olori Buruku Biafra iPod people where they talk nonsense. Bomb pasta. So let's come back to the program, and discuss what we have today. On your screen is this man, this Yoruba man called Aregbesola. I've been hearing a bit about him after he left the government. I don't think Aregbesola and Tinubu, they are in a good terms. And I pray that the God of Yoruba land will make it like that. Because Aregbesola has a lot of money that can also do the job that we need him to do. Because we need money. We need people like him to come on board and join Yoruba nation. Some might say, hey, no, don't let him come and join us. Don't worry. It's not like the Nigerian issue. What I'm just trying to say is that these people have stolen so much wealth that if you're going to move out of Yoruba from Nigeria, you need a lot of money. But that's not where we want to go. We want to talk about what Aregbesola is talking about. He's now warning. I like when they're warning us. You see Yoruba people, they don't like warning until their thing happens. They will not be saying, Everybody's warning each other now. So Where is warning? I am warning. Igbowo is warning. Simon Ekpa is warning. People are warning left and right. But Yoruba people will wait until everything goes apart and then they will start talking. So I'm happy that Aregbesola is also warning every one of us now. And we must take this as a very important message from Aregbesola. And what is Aregbesola saying? I'm going to read it. But who is Aregbesola and what is their own intention for Yoruba people? Because while he was in government, they were milking it, enjoying it. But the moment they leave government, it seems that something Ategumi manifesting Olara. I don't know. We saw Jonathan, I played the video at the beginning of the broadcast. But the question is, how long more will Nigerian hold? Do you think that Nigeria can hold to 2027 as things are going right now? I'm not going to say it's not going to hold or it will hold, because when I say that there will not be election in 2023, a lot of you were using that against us. There will not be election. Look at them. The election was held. Now you are all suffering. Debt is coming to you on a daily basis. The diaspora continue to bail you out. I have just sent 20,000 naira to somebody this morning. Not for anything. They just need it for transportation to go to their village because something has gone wrong in their body and there's no medical system that can treat it. Maybe one of 50 as a labor, as a Yoruba people. They're going to use the tradition. I can't show you the images. Too gruesome to show you. And that is what we are good at. When we have all these things, let's send it to the politicians so that they can die quickly. They don't have to be existing. Let them die. Because they've killed many people. Do you hear the report I gave on Star Radio UK? 1,500 innocent Nigerians died in October. So, she run on politicians here. But no. So this individual called me this morning. He started, when they start calling you, you know that there's a problem. And sometimes I don't want to take their calls. But sometimes, Uju anu wa ti poju. So I sent to him, it's a small money, but he doesn't have the 20,000. And I wish him a quick recovery. Don't come and tell me you have problem. Go and meet your governor, okay? I can only do one out of 200 people. But I've been able to send that individual monies to make his way back to his hometown. I won't tell you which part of Yoruba land. If not, he could die. So I'll leave that to that. Now, Aregbesola is saying something that I want us to listen to him. We might not agree and believe them, but he's warning us. And anything that is got to do with warning, we shouldn't take it for granted. We should take it as something that is got to do with us. Because we are warning Tinubu about a lot of consequences of what could go wrong. But this Tinubu doesn't want to listen to anybody. And it's a shame. A very good afternoon to all our mothers, my sisters, my auntie. If you're at work, good morning. If you're going to work, I hope you will get to work. And if you're on holiday, enjoy your holiday. The struggle will continue. It does not matter how long it will take, how long it will last. Nigeria will be deamalgamated.
Nigeria will fall apart and many countries will come out of it. Most importantly, the Yoruba will come out, the Biafra will come out. Even if we all disagree, like Simon was saying yesterday, we would have what they called, we sit back and, find solution to all the fighting that we were fighting each other. But for now, when you're in the movement, you just continue to remain focused because there's too many distractions and people want to distract us. Once again, my name is OLAYOMI KOIKI. Today is the 13th of 11, 2024, just for the record purpose. I keep all my folders here. I'm getting another one. I have them on the cloud. So even if these get lost, all my videos in the last 4 years are well documented. And I want to keep it like that so I don't leave any of my videos on the social media in the last 4 years. Because I want the next generation knows that we worked hard to achieve the Yoruba dream of what we want. Let's read a bit of what Aregbesola is telling us today. And while it is important not to take it as a joke, the former ex-governor, Raufu Aregbesola, warned with an S of a possible revolution in Nigeria. The first thing we should first ask is, what is the meaning of revolution? We don't want revolution, we want self-determination. But as we know, something will lead to something and eventually the collapse of Nigeria would happen.
Revolution.
Many people have heard about revolution from Showore before. Revolution now. But we are not revolution now. We are self-determination. And we are not secessionists like that crazy Abati. After they've eaten so much from Jonathan and the government, they'll go and sit in this radio station and TV station and they'll be chatting rubbish. Believe them at your own prerogative. Revolution has happened around the world before. Nigeria will not be the country that it will not happen. But how it will happen is what people are asking. How soon it's going to come is what people don't know. What you're looking behind me is America, Washington, D.C. 1776. They had to fight to be free from Britain. The same Britain that is talking nonsense to keep us together.
Revolution.
So let's move swiftly because of the time. Like I said, this program ends at exactly 1 because I want to have my lunch before I do other things. If time permits, we'll come back again in the night or in the evening. Whatever. Hello?
Hello, is that Koikimedia?
Yes, but we're on a live program right now.
Yeah, I'm just informing you because I've got your account number.
Okay.
And I've sent £30 into your account.
I love money. Thank you so much, sir. God bless you, sir.
Bless you too.
Eshegoni, thank you. That's the kind of message I like to hear. People that know the job we are doing needs money. You call me and give me money. Say, Koiki, I'll give you £100. I'll give you £1,000. Without money, we cannot do nothing. So that call was a good one. And if you need my account number as well, let me show it on the screen for the benefit of those of you. With Koiki, we want to support you, but we don't even know your account details. And that is the account details. You can send it through PayPal, Musa Kalam 1. I am not on TikTok. Do not let anybody deceive you on TikTok that is Koiki on TikTok. I'm all on Instagram, Facebook, MixLR, YouTube. These are my account details. If you want a Zelle, you have to contact me. I will give you the details. And if you don't have any money to give me, just pray for me and my family. Until we get Yoruba Nation, this media channel will not change anything it's doing. It will remain for self-determination till the last day of our declaration. And then we can then start tackling our government of the future. And I'm sure that many of you that are in denial, especially all these Yorubas that are in denial, there will not be any Yoruba nation. We will destroy it. My mom always tell me to be careful, just leave them. Everybody knows the end game. My wife always say, but I love to let you know that it will be destroyed. Nobody will enjoy it any cool way. You want to be enjoying Nigeria while we sit here, Abi, and go and bring Tinubu to come and be your Kaka Kite is Tinubu be governor. We will destroy it. And destruction is the most easiest thing to do. Just put fire on most of the things. Let's come forward straight to the discussion of Aregbesola, because Aregbesola is warning that there's a war. A war is looming and it's going to happen. How soon is what nobody knows, but it is going to happen. So I'm going to read Aregbesola. I might give you a bit of 10 minutes to call in, and then we end the program from my desk here at 1 p.m. We will continue with the discussion. I'm trying to be very fast on it, but it's not something we should rush. If I have to take one way to do it, I will do it, because exactly what I have said for 4 years, Aregbesola is now coming out to say the same thing. Whatever does not give appropriate opportunity or right to people will be resisted no matter what you do. You cannot stop an ideology. I've told you that so many times. Ideology cannot be stopped. I will appreciate every single one of you before the end of the program, but let me not start mentioning names. It will be of distraction. If we are conscious of all these and understand the consequences of things getting out of hand, we will be interested in finding the best way to govern ourselves. Nobody can govern us in Nigeria. It is too late to be governed in Nigeria. We want to govern ourselves in our own independent, autonomous, sovereign state, just like Tinubu said so during his visit to Saudi Arabia. And I want to bring that on quickly so that many of you that have not seen that could understand that President Bola Tinubu, bear with me because I want to change my screen. That's why I put the governors there so that you can see their faces. Tinubu says that they should allow Palestinians to be free, but he doesn't want Yoruba and Biafra and Arewa to be free. That means we would force him to accept it whether he likes it or not. So I want us to look at what Tinubu said on his Twitter handle, which is now called the X. As you can see right on your screen, Tinubu says, and I quote, "In a rules-based international order, states have the right of self-defense. So when the time comes, Yoruba will have the right to self-defense. But self-defense must take proportionality into account in line with global legal, diplomatic, and moral framework." Let's come back again to Aregbesola. Ọ̀rọ̀ Aregbesola òun ni a mú wá sórí ìkànnì wa ní ọ̀sán yìí tó ń wọ̀n wá pé ogun ń bọ̀ ní Nàìjíríà tí kò bá sí àyípadà. A former governor of Osun State, Raufu Aregbesola, has raised the alarm over what he described as worsening economic, political, even and spiritual conditions in Nigeria. I told you that we are fighting spiritual warfare, but we must also prepare for the physical one because we have won them from the spiritual side. The spiritual battle has been won. All we need now to win is to conclude on the physical part of it as well. So if anybody thinks that the government has the power to suppress us for Yoruba nation, tell America the same thing when they were fighting the Vietnamese. I don't think some of you know that that is the most beautiful fight, guerrilla warfare. It stated that if left unaddressed, what is it talking about that is left unaddressed? The issues of separation. Kolukaluku dawa, kolukaluku malonlwe. Ki Yoruba dawa, Hausa dawa, Ki Igbo dawa. But the fact that if these issues are left unaddressed, these conditions could lead to a revolution. I am not the one saying this now, okay? I am reading what Aregbesola said. And I believe this was on Sunday, which is just 3 days ago, because today is Wednesday. You are new to this platform, and you are saying, look at all these ones. They sit on the social media. They're talking like this. Time will tell. And everybody will witness it. And it's getting closer, gradually. It's just a matter of how soon it will all erupt. Some are even waiting for the December, Biafra, whatever they want to do. I say that Nigeria can explode tonight. Nigeria can explode tomorrow. Because even Obasanjo says, and I quote, Nigeria is sitting on a keg of gunpowder. All we need is just the flame. and everything will go poof. But before it go poof, we must continue to warn the people, just like Aregbesola is warning Nigerians not to expect anything out of Tinubu's government, not to expect anything out of Nigeria, even though these are criminals. They're part of the criminal government because he was one of them that enriched himself, told lies, run Osun State dry. Nothing came out of it for 8 years. And he's now warning us of a revolution. What is coming is even going to be bigger than revolution. You will not be able to stop it. And I know many Nigerians have got weapons. They're just hiding it. Everybody's got their weapons that they're going to use when the time comes to defend themselves against all this agenda that we are witnessing on a daily basis. Let's move swiftly. Mr. Rauf Aregbesola, a former political ally of President Bola Tinubu, they are no longer political ally. Because if not, Tinubu would have told him, don't say that now. Don't let Koiki use that against me now. And at the end of the day, it is what it is. Nigeria must collapse. 12:35, and we must continue to, to tell you all that things are going to fall apart, and it's going to fall apart very fast. So what I'm about to say to us that are still, I don't want to read all the nonsense things. That the most important thing we've read, the most important part. So I'm going to open the phone line for 15 minutes. Now that Aregbesola is telling us this, what do you think? Killer in Europe, you want the number. I have the studio number here. Let's bring it up quickly on the screen. That is the studio number, and I'll only give three more people to call in as well. It's 1:35 in Nigeria, definitely, but it's exactly 12:35 in London, England, United Kingdom, where my transmission is coming from. Remember that you can now enjoy more programs from the Koikimedia team, courtesy to you all for making sure that Koiki can continue the awareness that you want us to do. We have proverbs, we have different things, and I believe somebody have sent a request on the Twitter space. I will accept that request, and please, let's make it very fast and very neat so that because of my time, because I still have to have my brunch, because I have not eaten, I've just had a quick drink. Go ahead, Biafra champion, let me hear from you quickly, and then, we wait for calls to come through. Go ahead. All right, it seems that there's a network glitch from your side. I've told you to go ahead, but whether you can hear me or not, I don't know. Whether it's from my end, I don't know whether you can hear me or not. While we are waiting for calls, go ahead, Biafra champion, if you can hear me. Because sometimes in a network glitch, go ahead, please, quickly, because of the time. Yeah, you're audible. Go ahead. Let me hear you now. Go ahead. You've listened to the presentation, and I don't know where you're going to pick it from, but I want to hear your view. Go ahead. All right.
Doesn't matter how many people who are following, doesn't matter how many people who are following the story. The most important thing is that we are at the top of the street, and we are pushing the street very quickly. The days are come when they begin to realize, and they start doing the good. So, continue more good to the end. Then, concerning the statement of
Aregbesola. Yes, Aregbesola, yes.
For me, I think this is speaking, speaking from the heart of the one Nigerian. Who says that there is no more food for him in the dining. You get my point?
I'm getting your point, yes.
He says that on the dining table, there is no more room to sit for him. So he starts speaking on the contrary. You understand?
Okay.
Otherwise, I don't see any reason why they should be sounding that way, but they are not supporting what you guys are doing. So that is my position.
All right. That is his position. Thank you so much, Biafra, and thank you to all our listeners from the Biafra side as well. For those that are still in doubt about the state of things in Nigeria, everyone knows the end game, but we are living in denial with the hope that something miraculously will transform and change the narrative, and we will be the best country around the world as Britain continue to give us that babu, the lies. As David Lammy told us that by 2075, Nigeria will be a great place to be. If you believe that nonsense, you are already entrapped. But what we should be reminding ourselves and those that are still against this kind of movement is that the end of Nigeria is just with us, and there's nobody that can stop it. But one thing is that the Northerners, the Fulanis, their agenda is to keep this fraudulent country together. And our own agenda is to bring it down as quickly as possible so that we can save lives of our people. And that is the only option that we have on the table today. Anything short of that cannot work. Anything short of that cannot work. Let's listen to this. Pastor Emmanuel, as they were warning us years back about the crime scene called Nigeria.
I saw Nigeria in the hands of the Almighty God, heaven and earth. Carrying Nigeria was standing, and it crash landed Nigeria. And Nigeria was scattered into pieces. Amen. Amen. And it was divided into various ways. And the hands took eraser and it erased Nigeria. It wrote another nation which I could not know. The second mission I saw a sun, and it was called the Son of Righteousness. And the sun set all of a sudden. And God told me, if the Son of Righteousness come down in Nigeria, and we're going to suffer a lot. The third vision.
Amen.
Amen.
Please, everybody pay attention to a little boy called David. A young man saved from garage without wisdom of men. So listen.
Warning of the third revelation. You Christian in Nigeria, if you allow the Son of Righteousness to go down in this nation, we are going to all suffer. If the righteousness of Christian has been collapsed, the enemy will prevail or have power over them. What happened to all of us in this nation is righteousness has fallen or collapsed. There is no more righteousness in the altar, no more righteousness in the church. And Yoruba did come to pass on us. The righteous one in the city is the wicked one. All of us speaking the truth, you are trying to silence us.
Those of us that are speaking the truth, you're doing everything to silence us. I'll leave that pastor for now. He says so much, but we'll leave it for now. But rather than us all to come together and ask that same question, do we still want to be one? And let us remind ourselves that it is not important that we have to be one. Because mind you, we were not one until the 1914 fraudulent amalgamation. So if anybody is trying to force us to live together, what we are doing is we are bringing more problem on ourselves. The next couple of videos is just a reminder That what Fashola is saying is exactly what everybody is saying, but they're saying it in different ways. Because we have about 9 minutes. But I want to push this one in. I might not play all those videos, just, bit by bit out of it. Let's listen to this one quickly as well.
We have problems in the land. And the problems, I want to say this, I might be off the cuff, is because of our constitution. Also, Nigeria is not operating any constitution known to honesty, entrenched in group faith, brought about by unanimity of the people, acceptable to federalism, and again, that is also, we also have that problem in the judiciary because of the Nigerian situation. We have a unitary system. That's what we run. Hydra-headed. Don't let us pretend. And I've said it over and over, and I'll continue to say it. And that's unitarism has also created into the judiciary. Today, the entire Nigerian judiciary is unitarized. The Supreme Court is federal, Federal Court of Appeal, the Court of Appeal is federal, Federal High Court is federal, FCT is federal, National Industrial Court is federal, Customary Court of Appeal of the Federal High Court is federal, Sharia Court of Appeal of the Federal High Court is federal, all jurisdictions. That the Kayode of this world, that the Okutas of this world, that the Bellows of this world, when they were in their respective high courts, exercised, making the law to be profound, succulent, rich, exciting, they are now vested in the different federal high court or federal courts. We're talking of how to reform the system. There is no justification in a state, in a nation like Nigeria, purporting to practice federalism, where even the Supreme Court should be overburdened with unnecessary jurisdiction in respect of land matters from Yoruba land, respect of divorce, respect of family matters, chieftaincy matters. How do they know? I don't want us to be deceiving ourselves. Assuming I'm even appointed to the Supreme Court today.
President Tinubu needs to put his best foot forward to govern the country. If he does that, in 4 years, he can turn things around. But there are certain critical things he would need to do. The first thing is to say, what's the Constitution? If, for instance, me and my wife Lillian don't agree in our marriage of 45 years, then we can't do anything. So the first thing that President Tinubu would need to do is to ensure that Nigerians all agree to be one country. You recall that Bolaige asked those two questions. Do we want to be one? It's not by force. If we want to be one, how? We haven't answered those questions, which is why I told President Akpabio of the Senate that it has taken 23 years to solve the problem of the Constitution. And I urged him, in conjunction with President Tinubu, to resolve the Nigerian constitutional question now by inviting the owners of Nigeria. The owners of Nigeria, mark you, were those who owned Nigeria before Lugard brought his amalgamation in 1914. Call them in. These are the people who own the country, and ask them questions. What do you want to see of the Constitution? Because without a Constitution, we're going nowhere. And no one will doubt the fact that the Constitution bequeathed by the military in 1999 is unsatisfactory. You can't build anything out of a weak foundation. The economic development policy of President Tinubu, the political development policy of President Tinubu, and everything else he wants to do rests on a very solid foundation. So let him immediately resolve that. How can we spend 23 years looking for a foundation for building a house? Does that make sense to anybody? So that's my number one issue. We need to resolve this issue of, do we want to be one? And mark you, the flip side of the question is that we mustn't be one, because Yugoslavia.
The flip side of the question is, we don't have to be one. That is the flip side. As many Nigerians want to keep Nigeria as a sovereign state, but the situation now does not accept it. And you cannot force people to want to be one when even countries as this, Agbakoba was going to finish that particular clip. We don't have to be one. We are nations. And don't be deceived. That is the world map. Don't be deceived that, the world is too big to have multiple nations inside it. And nobody, not America, not UK, not Canada, have the right to tell us that we can't have our own nation and have our own embassy, have our own currency, have our own economy, have our own innovation, have our own ways of life. And when I come back later in the evening, we're going to be talking about Archbishop Justin Welby. You remember him? The friend to Buhari. He has resigned. After they were, the Church of England were putting hand in children's toko. We're going to be talking about that. So later on. So let's listen to the final part because I got just about 3 minutes and I want this one to come into the broadcast as well. This is the last video and this is coming from, this one also talked about why Yoruba people needs to exit. Not sure
if the constitution maintains by section 2 that Nigeria is one indissoluble nation and doesn't provide for means or procedure by which a people or a particular sector of the nation, a federating people, can choose to say at this particular point we want to have a nation of our own, and it doesn't provide for a peaceful means by which this can be guaranteed. There will always be frictions that will be leading to violence, killings and bloodshed. And to avoid this, it is imperative that we look at that provision of section 2.
And this man is talking from the, it might be known that, I didn't realize that my mic was still on. There will be a lot of echo coming through. So why are they running away from the truth? Nobody should run away from the truth. The truth has been said. Self-determination is the final solution, and that will be accepted whether they like it or not. Just let's listen to the last part because I got to go.
Says that Nigeria is one indissoluble, indestructible entity that doesn't make provision for the procedure by which a people can advance the right to self-determination. There have been many occasions where, on so many occasions we hear from the Arewa People's Congress or whatever agitating that yes, if Nigeria cannot work, they want to go on their own. The Biafra agitators are there. We have the Odua nation and what have you. If the Constitution provides for a procedure to determine peacefully whether a people can separate from Nigeria, you see that some of these agitations might be completely quenched. For instance, let me give you one. Tomorrow now, if we provide for referendum or plebiscite, these are political procedures for determining whether a nation or a nation in a country, because I want to take the definition of a nation here to mean the ethnic nationalities, maybe the Yoruba nation, the Igbo nation, the Arewa nation, or Ijo, Ibiobio, and what have you. Now, if a people can be entitled to right to call for plebiscite that can be supervised by international organs like the United Nations and what have you, it can be safely and easily determined that, okay, these people in this particular area has done in 1960, in 1959-60, if my recollection is right, with the people of the southern part of Cameroon who formed part of Nigeria before, but when they decided that no, they wanted to be on their own, then a plebiscite was conducted and they were able to have a separate nation of their own.
And that's how far I'm going to leave it. Self-determination is an inalienable right, and that right to be respected. We will come back later during the day. Thank you so much all for joining, on this particular edition of the Yoruba Nation campaign trail. Muki, our comfort Adeleye, Olakunle, thank you so much. Abdullahi Omobolaji, good afternoon to you. Clement, my payment is yet to process, but I'll keep trying. How are you, sir? Yes, Clement is one man that has been giving us, donation on this platform for almost a year plus now. We're happy to you. We're happy to you all that continue to contribute. Dizzy Man also sent a donation yesterday. Thank you so much. I'm very grateful to all that. We also say we thank the PM for the opportunity to hold a Yoruba Self-Determination Freedom Rally in London on October 12th. And we hope that the next rally represents the inalienable people and recognized by the UNPO. Pastor Mosh, thank you so much to all those of you that join us on the Twitter space, on the Instagram. We appreciate you all. Kende Koiki, God continue to bless you. Tunde Aremu, thank you so much for watching from London. America, Canada. Grace Olushoto, thank you so much. Our mother, Moji Obaguwa, Omokaro, Eshigoni Mommy, Mufuta Jimo, thank you so much. And about 43 people on the Twitter. Please follow me on Twitter. Remember to always help me to retweet, especially we have a lot of Afonja Yorubas that doesn't want people to know the truth. You know, they attack the Biafra while the Fulani continue to kill us. I need the Yorubas that are believers of self-determination to join me on Twitter called X. Latibawa push message here. The Biafra are doing it on our behalf, but we need the Yoruba people to come on board as well. Join the X. Very, very important. Shout out to Odua Arole. Shout out to Lubayo Elegbede. Shout out to Kunle Shita. Shout out to Adetola Okpanuga, the Okpanuga family, Brick family, Arole Odua. Are you ready for revolution this year? Anything can happen. You must prepare yourself. Get yourself prepared because anything can set out in Nigeria as things are going right now. Awi Ri Esi, Iran Omoalade, thank you so much. I will not be able to go through everybody. To all our team on the Twitter space, Ogumala Biodu say, Tinubu na Ashake Tondo, Dr. Chidi, very useless comrade, very useless, asking stupid question to Simon Ekpa yesterday. A very bitter man, you know, all the agent of the government, Ulushilori Burukomani. Thank you so much, Eyitewa Lori, other platform as well, Ganelo Yede, Ganil, Suraju. Love you all. If I don't mention your name, but Bami John Ogundele, he once lived in the UK until God told him to return back to Nigeria. He has believed that Yoruba should have exited Nigeria about more than 15 years ago. These ones have saw the dreams, but Baba Adeboye is not saying it yet. Mukia Idris Abimbola, Mukini Okiogu, Mukini Bubule Yoruba. Badamosi Ismaila. Shout out to all the Arewa. Shout out to the Hausa people. Remember that nobody hates you. We just don't want to live together in one pathetic country called Nigeria. And on that note, I play the anthem. I'll be back later, but I can't give exact time. But my team will continue to be out. If you want to watch them, you have to be on our Facebook. After that, I will download it and bring it back. Jimmy Koya, Ama Uche. I'll be in Italy next year, God's willing. Continue to support the Yoruba World Media. Remember that the Yoruba World Media will be coming out on a Wednesday evening like this. And until then, a very good afternoon. Bye for now.
She